Surviving infidelity. I, 54 male, found out my dead wife, 50 female, was cheating. I honestly don't know where to start, but maybe this will make some rambling sense. I found out my dead wife was cheating when I was given my wife's personal possessions. Actually, I got them back in August, but I couldn't bear to go through them until today. In the bag was some clothes and the necklace I had bought her for our 15th year anniversary, and as I pulled it out of the bag I broke down and was reduced to a crying mess. When I finally regained a semblance of sanity, I looked at the rest of it and I found her phone. After charging it, I got into it and was just looking around at the photos she had taken for pictures of us and our 3 girls I knew she had taken on our last vacation. Going through the photos, I eventually ran into one she had taken of her chest while laying down with someone I originally believed was me doing the nasty. It was a really low light picture and wasn't clear at all. Then there was a video of a black screen. I'm guessing that the camera was lens down, but it recorded the audio and it was my wife talking dirty and saying encouraging things to her partner, who I learned was a friend of ours a moment later when I heard her say his name. I turned it off and was ill for a good hour in the bathroom. Later, I checked the date on the file and it was less than a month before she had fallen into a diabetic coma for 8 months before she passed away 2 months after coming out of the coma, with no knowledge of who anyone was. She passed on the day after her birthday party that we had, even though she didn't know who even her kids were. We had met on Yahoo Personals. Yes, I'm old. We had known each other in high school and she had said she had a crush on me because I had been a football player, and after a play where I had crushed 2 of the other players and had then helped them up after the play was over. She said she saw that I was a beast, but I was also kind and that made her heart flutter. I admitted I was a bit embarrassed, but she said that she liked it when I blushed. We dated for a year and I decided that she was the one. I had talked to a friend I knew at the Boston Diamond Exchange and spent a small fortune on a bright blue square cut diamond, and had it put into a custom ring. She said yes and we started plans for the wedding, and as soon as we had all the plans settled, we learned she was pregnant. It was a close call, but we got married before our first daughter arrived and we moved into our new home. 11 months later, daughter number 2 was born, Irish twins, and 2 years later number 3 made her entrance. Right before our youngest was born, I went to get the bullets taken out of the gun, so to speak, and when I was finally feeling better we had planted a seed. But we were laughing about the youngest being our miracle baby. After the return to a crazed normal in the house, my wife said we needed to talk. That's never good, so I was starting to panic about our youngest being mine, etc. But she surprised me by saying that she is bi, and wanted to ask me if I would be willing to let her have another woman as long as I knew her and approved. After mulling it over I set some conditions. I had to meet her, she had to have a clean STI test, and I had to be there. I wasn't going to interfere or join in, but I was going to be there. We agreed, and after about 6 months we bumped into a woman I knew and it turned out that she was up for it because she was bi as well. So after another month later, she turned up with the paperwork and we had a great time. I didn't join in and my wife was appreciative to me after. Our friend wound up staying with us 3 months later and she helped with the kids, and eventually we all got together a month after that, and she was with us for 6 years until her dad got real sick and she needed to move back home to take care of him. A short time before our 17th wedding anniversary, my wife fell into a diabetic coma, and even though she came out of it 8 months later, it wasn't her that woke up. She was short-tempered, argumentative, and a racist as well. She told me to get the damned Indian crap out of her hospital room. We are both 1/4 Native American. It was so bad I had to drag my kids in to see her because they said that it wasn't their mom there. Then one night, I got a call to come to the rehabilitation hospital because my wife was really sick. I drove there breaking about 57 traffic laws to get there, and when I ran into the ward the nurse told me she had passed quickly. I was a wreck for a couple of weeks, and I have to thank my girls for being so supportive, even though they were a wreck as well. I had thought that I had done my grieving for the loss of my wife when I was first told she would never wake from the coma, and again when I realized that the person we got back just wasn't my wife. And yet again when I got her things. Now I feel just so empty and I really don't know what to do or say. I will never tell the kids as they don't need to know that about their mom, but I have called her partner in crime and talked to him. At first he wouldn't admit it, but after I played the video file for him to hear, he came clean. It had been 2 times and she had told him it was a mistake and she loved me more than anything, so they would never see each other again. I told him to never let me see him again because I don't know what I'd do to him, but that I would not be going after him since it was over. I just don't know what to do or think. On one hand, I remember all for the amazing years we had, but on the other, I wonder if there was anything I don't know about. My girls know something is wrong, but I can tell them it is just that I'm sad about their mom and they will accept that because it will be true. I have given my wife's necklace to our oldest, and a couple more from her jewelry to the other two. I go from sad, to blind rage, to wanting to eat a bullet. Never will because of the girls. I can't stop crying and switching to beating the heavy bag in the garage. When we decided to get married, I also quit drinking, and it has been over 18 years since I've had a drink, and I have never wanted one more than I do right now. Sorry about the length/rant, but it's good to at least get that out there. Now for the top advice. I'm very sorry for what you're going through. You really need therapy ASAP, and a circle of support from your close adult family and trusted friends. I want to clarify one thing though. Was the marriage open only for her? Or both of you? It was open for her to be with another woman, as long as I had final say on everything. They asked me to join in after a while, and we kind of just had an exclusive three-way arrangement. I don't know if that's where I screwed up and she thought she could do that with anyone, or if she just got stupid and decided to do whatever she wanted to do. I just really don't know what to think. The phone has been sitting in her belongings like a time bomb just waiting to go off. I'm sorry for your loss. I too have lost my wife. It's been 7 years at the time of her death. We had 4 daughters, 15 female twins, 5 female and 3 female. I can promise you it gets better. Stay off the alcohol/teas. It does nothing for you. Get individual counseling for your kids. If your kids are crying, it's okay to cry with them. In fact, I encourage it. You have to let it out. Work out, walk. Try not to harp on what you found out. I'm sorry you're going through this, but you can't change it, and there's nothing you can do. Sorry for your loss as well. I don't know if it gets better at all, but I'm hoping so. The girls have been in IC since my wife went into the coma, and this will continue. They all came out after they were supposed to be asleep, and said they were worried about me, and we all had a good cry on the couch. They are finally asleep, but I think it will be days before I sleep again. I'm sorry for what you are going through. It's horrible on top of horrible. I do have one rule about cheaters: I never lie for them. I believe telling the truth will help you too. There is no reason to take this burden on yourself. Your daughters deserve to know what's happening to you. If they were children I could understand, but adults should know. Just my feelings. Good luck and stay strong. I may tell them in a while, but right now it's still too fresh. I'm just not sure if it would do any good at all instead of just causing pain. I know the language that would come out of my mouth, and I've taught my daughters to be ladies and not truckers. I slipped one time when I cut my hand on a broken glass, and said ish, and my daughter looked shocked, and said, "No daddy, it's sugar, love her so much." I'm just going crazy, mostly because I can't ask why. My weight at the time was 2 pounds more than when I was in high school. I was a firefighter/EMT, and in our yearly calendar, so I figure I was good looking. Made good money and had great investments as well as owned my own home. I even still had a really cool car. Sorry I'm rambling again. Now for the next story. Today would have been 13 years married. Instead, we only made 10 years by 26 days. So to my ex, on this day I write a letter in the abyss of the internet. Dear ex-wife, I haven't thought of you in any way other than my ex in a while. Maybe even a year or so. But today, on what should have been our 13th anniversary, I can't stop myself from thinking of you in your best and your worst moments. I remember the joy on your face when I got you a dress that fit so well it was like it was tailored for you. It was. She thought we were taking measurements for a diet plan, for our 5th anniversary. I remember us celebrating the first one by blowing a glass globe together at the beach. Your artist's heart was so delighted that you did it all except pick some colors. I just shattered the globe 3 or 4 weeks ago when I had to decide if I was going to pack it to move it to a new place, or if I was going to get rid of it finally. I remember your joy and trepidation in telling me I was going to be a dad over the phone at your friend's house 3 hours away for the next 2 days, so I couldn't even hug you or celebrate with you. I really feel like that's an in-person conversation for a married couple who has been trying for 3 years, but I digress. I remember your joy as we screamed our lungs out at the Third Eye Blind concert, only to be shattered at catching you flirting with one of our friends while his wife wasn't there, and I was 3 feet away from you. Trash. I remember other things too. I remember you hiding in the closet after me finding out about the first affair. I remember your indignant stance and hatred spewed at me when I found out about the second one. I remember your screaming how much you hate me, and how she shouldn't love her a-hole daddy in front of our 3-year-old. I remember that night where you drove home from a friend's house drunk. I could taste another man on your lips. I asked you about it and you deflected. We slept together that night. I remember finding out 2 months later that you had been with him that night. You see, I know who you really are, and I refuse to fall under your manipulation today. Today, on what used to be a beautiful day, I choose to not remember you at all. I choose to be done thinking about the good or the bad years. I am not going to give you another thought on this or any other day. You are an ex for a reason, and I don't need to even have you as a thought in my brain. You're not worth my time. You're not worth the energy I spend thinking about you on days like this. So, I won't do it anymore. And damn it, I'd better grow and be a better person for it, cause it's not gonna be near as easy as I want it to be. Screw off and die, your ex. Now for the top comments. I hear you, OP. My own what would have been our anniversary is coming soon. But it feels like any other day to me. Months ago, I wrote an unsent letter just like yours, of the good times and bad with the cheater. Then I decided I could live just fine without them. And it's true. About 12 years after the divorce, I was doing some paperwork and realized I didn't remember the date I married my ex anymore. I had to call my ex-mother-in-law and ask her, so I could finish and submit the paperwork I was doing. You'll get there. You'll realize in time that you haven't thought about her in years, that you don't remember what used to be important dates anymore, and that you are truly free. God, I want this for my life. Same. Only a few months out for D-Day, but the months he was cheating on me haunt me. I know each day he slept with her. What we did surrounding those days. At the time, I didn't even know, but looking back, it feels so gut-wrenching. Now knowing what he was actually doing and then coming back to me as if everything was normal. This is so traumatizing. Man, I feel for you. Why do we accept any type of disrespect? Why do we want so badly to not fail that we forgive transgressions in hopes that it'll all be okay? I'm approaching 1 year since my wife cheated on me, emotionally, and then more after she asked for a divorce. I didn't fight, wished her good luck, and even helped her plan to leave. I was getting my kids, and that's all I cared about. When reality came crashing in on her, I was here to catch her. But a year later, I still find it hard to not remember the pain, or how disgusted I was at her willingness to destroy her family instead of talking to me and working together on our problems. Admittedly, it is much better now. I trust but verify. But I also feel foolish, and reading this makes me think there is going to be more, or maybe there was more. I've adopted a new motto, creed or whatever: when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't waste your time on hate, my brother. You've got a little one to be the best freaking daddy for, nothing else really matters. You dealt and still dealing the situation in a great way, bro, inspiration to many of us. We all stay strong. Creed or whatever. Now for the last story. She left me completely broken. So, Cole's Notes version here. My wife has been getting distant since our daughter was born 2 years ago. She had postpartum psychosis, and didn't tell me. She also had a cancer scare, and didn't tell me until the results came back negative. We fought a lot that first year. Now, she's been saying that I've been taking her for granted, not holding her hand enough, not complimenting her enough, probably because she tells me I'm lying to her when I did, and not making love to her enough. We used to fight about that last point a lot, and I wasn't quite sure how to tell her that me doing all the work 98% of the time gets boring, and you yelling deeper, or harder all the time doesn't help. She's also gotten mad at me for looking at pictures of friends of mine on Facebook. Not meeting up with them, nor even talking to them, just looking at pictures of them. I get it, if it bothered her, I should have stopped, and guys, I just found it so childish that I didn't think it was a big deal. Now, I've tried to get her to partake in hobbies with me, and she's shot every one of them down. She's feeling lonely while I'm out for 3 or 4 nights a week for a few hours at jiu-jitsu, and starts going on Discord. We start to grow apart. She's becoming even more distant, on her phone all the time while we're trying to watch movies, still bringing up the fact that we don't have intercourse as much as she'd like. How can I even get your attention? I'd ask. She'd ignore this. Fast forward to October 2020, she's been saying she's depressed for a while, and I get a text one day saying she needs to talk. She tells me she's checked out and done with this marriage. I ask if she'd go to a counselor, she says no. The next day she apologizes, saying it was out of line for her to say that. I take that as a second chance, and try to woo her again, only for her to continue to ignore me on dates. January 5th, I stay home from jiu-jitsu hoping to cheer her up. She gets mad, I get mad and storm off into the living room in a huff after we get our daughter down. She follows, and tells me this marriage is BS. She storms off in the bedroom and I can hear her laughing with her friends on Discord. I'm devastated and stay with my parents for a bit. This is Tuesday, I come back to see my daughter Saturday, she says she misses me, then when we put our daughter to bed, she says we should be roommates. I'm devastated again. Sorry, that wasn't much of a Cole's Notes, and I appreciate if you've read along this far, but we're getting to the point here now. I'm living with my parents, and she's staying in the home. I go there during the day to work because I'm working from home, and we're going to put the house on the market and go our separate ways. She asked a week later if I'd take our daughter for more than a week while she goes on a trip to Australia next year, paid for by all her friends there. I ask if she's going to see her male friend, let's call him Bill, and she denies it. I ask if I can borrow her laptop one day, and I see a Discord room called her online name's FapZone. I wasn't able to get into it though. A few days later, I show up early, she's in the shower, I'm not too proud of this, but I look through the phone. This room is littered with member pictures from Bill, voice chat logs, text messages. Sorry, I had to whisper, I didn't want my family to hear. No, he's not married, he's 22 and lives with his family in Australia. I wasn't able to see how far back they went. I know from the history on the laptop that she's been getting these since the day after I left at least. I don't believe they started that day, as her laptop won't save history from her phone. Am I wrong for thinking she's more than likely been cheating on me? I feel like I know that she has been in my heart, but I'm so hurt right now, but maybe I'm off. My plan is I'm going to try to get her phone again, find out when this started, and I'm going to see a lawyer this coming Monday. I'm not going to try to get anything extra from her, we've tried to be pretty amicable, and not have anyone pay any money out, but I can't trust her now. I want to know what my rights are, because I fear she's going to try to throw and pull some dirty stuff on me, and then I'm going to tell her. I need her to know that I know. She's been saying things like, we'll always be best friends. Bullcrap. You don't lie and hurt your best friends like this. If it wasn't for our daughter, I'd cut her out of my life. It's killing me to wait until that long to tell her that I know, honestly. I want to tell her tonight, and ask her why, and how. How could you do this to our family? A big thanks to anyone who took the time to read this. Edit, thanks to everyone for taking time to respond. I managed to video her phone today, and find out she's been receiving pictures since long before she told me that she was done. Now for the top advice. Exactly. She's not who you married any longer, don't base your actions on the woman she used to be. This is the common mistake. The person you found is who she really is. I hope you took some evidence, because she's going to lie to you and everyone else about her affair the same way she lied about trying to reconcile marital issues. No, I was so shocked when I found it, I didn't think of it at the time. Oh, she is 100% cheating. This is classic. My ex did something similar. They start to run you down and start fights. Then they will tell you they want to separate or want a divorce and make you believe it's because of some failure of yours. Then the truth comes usually by you doing your own investigating. They don't bounce without someone waiting in the wings. The not giving me compliments thing means someone else was giving her compliments. Someone gave her attention. Can't serve two masters, can't invest in two intimate relationships. One suffers. She's cheated and she's making you think you failed. When you inevitably catch her, she will claim you drove her to it. Well, she actually did say she was getting compliments online, but didn't say from which friend. Then in another argument, said she stopped talking to the guy because I got mad when she told me who it was, when she didn't tell me in the first place. So, she's being wooed by this guy online. Let her know when you tell her that y'all are no longer anything but co-parents from that point forward. Gray rock her completely from that day forward, and don't entertain conversations not about the child. I actually said that to her Friday night, but I've already gone back on it. And I'm unsure how to proceed with it in regards to our child. I'd have to be somewhat civil with her around our daughter, right? And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.